Even though it's not overwhelming, it's one of those pitches you swing at and you think you're putting the bat right on it, and then somehow you miss it.
Yeah, he has good spin rate, and the ball has good carry, and that's the confusing part to a hitter when he sees the ball and the ball actually has this hopping appeal. Look, he's got great balance, that double clutch kind of delivery. The one thing about the Japanese pitchers, they have the ability to stay over the rubber and use their mechanics. Rarely do you see bad mechanics out of them in the way that they throw a baseball. So he's got a great lineup to navigate, and he's going to have to be on his game. I would expect this game to be more runs scored in a championship game than normal if both lineups have been doing what they've been capable of.
Team USA has averaged close to 8 runs in this tournament, 23 runs over the last 2 games. Japan has averaged 9 runs a game. That's second only to Korea in the tournament. So here we go. Japan, the home team, looking for its first title since the first 2 World Baseball Classics in 2006 and in 2009. For Mark DeRosa's team, trying to repeat as champs.
What I was going to say, Joe, is for Mark DeRosa, his challenge is not going to be with his offense. It's going to be how does he navigate the pitching. And so getting runs early will really help that.
Yeah, boy, they have set the tone very quickly in both games here in Miami, getting runs in the first inning, in the quarter, and in the semi. Betts climbs in, and off we go with a fastball strike. Mookie Betts, for a lot of the tournament, hasn't felt great, but then broke out with 3 hits in the semifinal win against Cuba, where the U.S. really left no doubt in a 14-2 win. In the air to right center field. Kondo moves to his right, and he's got it for the first out of the night. Now, it's interesting, John, for these U.S. hitters, all of whom have seen Yu Darvish a ton. Not that that's any fun facing Yu Darvish, but they've seen him a bunch, and this is a guy who they've not seen at all.
Yeah, you wonder if, again, the strategy for Team Japan was that leading in, we thought Yu Darvish was starting. Maybe just because we assumed, but to your point, unfamiliar with this young pitcher and may prove valuable.
You know, one of the many treasures on this night is Mike Trout in a championship game. Just 3 career postseason games in the majors, all in 2014. All losses. It's been 9 years since he's played in a postseason game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, and he said he knew that this was going to be a fun time playing for the United States, but he said, I didn't know it was going to be this fun. This is the most fun he's ever had on a baseball field. On a 1-1 pitch. Trout waits on it, floats it to right off the end of the bat, sinking in a hurry, and Mike Trout with a dunk shot base hit looks to turn it into 2 and does. Captain America starts it with a bang.
I'm not saying in a regular season game he wouldn't do that, but it's 162 of those games, right? And in this moment, you're seeing the speed of Mike Trout, and when he wants to turn it on, I mean, this is an aggressive. This could have been out number 2 at second base, and he just decided he was going to go for it. The throw was high. He slid under it, and luckily he didn't take off because he thought the throw went over his head.
Well, remember Friday night against Venezuela, the message coming out of the clubhouse was, we got to match the intensity. We got to match the passion that they're going to have in this building pro-Venezuela. And aggressive base running in that first inning really set the tone for that. And you see it there from Trout. Paul Goldschmidt to the plate now takes strike 1. National League MVP last year. And has the highest on-base percentage of anybody on this Team USA roster. Hit his first home run of the Classic in the semi. Down an 0-1 from Imanaga. Goldschmidt fouls it back. Climbs the ladder after that fastball, and there's an example, John, of what that fastball can do to a hitter.
Yeah, it's already beaten. Mookie made a nice swing, but it beat him. That's why the ball ended up being in the outfielder's glove, and you could see Mike Trout got jammed and got beaten and flared one over. So they're going to take their inventory while they're up there. Their eyes are taking inventory. Hitters will always tell you, all right, I got to see him, and then once I see him, I can kind of time it a little bit and start seeing the ball a little bit better.
Trout at second, one gone. Goldschmidt at an 0-2 hole. Imanaga. The long stare at Trout, delivers and gets Goldschmidt swinging. With the changeup, 2 gone in the first.
Well, that's a great pitch. First time we've seen that changeup. He's been split change, which just fades away. Great arm action. He threw fastball up. He threw breaking ball to start him for a strike. So he covered all 3 areas. And I'm sure Paul will tell the rest of the hitters what that pitch looked like and give them some feedback.
Shota Imanaga, 7 pro years in Japan. Not a superstar like you, Darvish, or like Roki Sasaki, the 21-year-old sensation who we saw last night. But quietly, he's been one of the top pitchers in Japan for a long time. He faces Nolan Arenado with 2 gone in this first inning. Arenado to first. Down to get it is Okamoto. And he pitches around the double from Trout. Team Japan comes to bat for the first time in this championship game when you come back.
You're spending all your time on a quest for a new job. But you'd
Nene, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Qué está pasando?
34-year-old entering his 5th year with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Mark
Pasando,
DeRosa
Pito.
and Team USA, John, hoping that his pulse, which is very low, and his personality, very steady, made for a moment like this.
Yeah, you hope so. And you draw off of that. Look, the heartbeat's going to be racing a little bit. He knows what he's got to do, and he wants to keep the team in the game as long as possible and pitch his type of game. A little bit better adjustments they made in the bullpen, a little over-rotation in his delivery. Look for a sinker, cutter to be a little better than it was his last start.
Cutter's got to be good, you figure, against his left-handed heavy lineup. First 5 hitters all left-handed. Lars Nootbaar, the first man up, and he flies one to left field for Cedric Mullins. How's that feel for a starting pitcher?
There is nothing better in the world to get a first pitch out, not to mention in a game like this.
Settle him in against this Japan lineup, which has scored 9 runs a game in this tournament. Shohei Ohtani bats third, and you saw Yoshida do his thing last night. The cleanup man that not many people have heard from globally yet, but it's going to be with the Boston Red Sox starting this season and made a huge impact last night. Murakami out of the 5 spot was the hero with the game-winning double. 1 pitch, 1 out, and Kensuke Kondo comes up for Japan. Kondo is sandwiched between Lars Nootbaar, who's been a breakout star in this World Baseball Classic, and then Shohei Ohtani, who's the superstar, and a whole tournament full of them. And Kondo quietly 9 hits and 7 walks in 6 games. Check to third and no swing. Japan beat Italy in the quarterfinals. That was in Tokyo. Then they made the 16-hour flight after that game on Wednesday here to the United States in the thriller of a semifinal, the comeback win against Mexico. Just missed, 2-1.
Well, the key, just like Mexico had a key of keeping runners off base before Ohtani, before those power hitters get up. So getting the first two guys from Merrill Kelly, huge.
2-2. Merrill Kelly pitched the final game of the group stage against Colombia. Gave up 2 runs over 3 innings. Was not particularly efficient in that game. In fact, about 20 pitches per inning. And as Mark DeRosa tries to piece the pitching together in this one, got to be more efficient. Drags this one on the ground up the middle. Trey Turner behind the bag. 2 away. So the defense around Merrill Kelly. You saw Cedric Mullins make that first play in left field. Mike Trout is in center. And then Mookie Betts in right. On the infield, it's Arenado and Goldschmidt, the Cardinals' corner infielders. With Turner and Anderson up the middle. Tim Anderson playing second base for the first time in his pro career in this WBC. And Real Muto's back doing the catching. The once-in-a-lifetime Shohei Ohtani, who's continued to do the unthinkable in this classic. 2-0 on the mound. 6 games at the plate. He's got 9 hits, 9 walks, 9 runs scored.
It's amazing. Not to my knowledge, no games that we've done, this is the 10th game that we've done, is the fact that I've not seen an intentional walk yet, which is shocking. Shocking.
Yeah.
In a tournament.
Right, especially a tournament where there are the best players in the world, but then there are also some guys who are like librarians during their day jobs, and still no free passes issued. The 2-0 pitch to Ohtani bounces in there, ball 3. This is maybe headed for a intentional, unintentional walk.
Maybe.
Ohtani not seeing anything good to hit. He didn't wait at all in the 9th inning last night. Swung at the first pitch that he saw from Gallegos and doubled to start that rally. 3 balls, 1 strike. It sure happened fast, didn't it?
It did. I kept looking over to the bench, seeing what the tension was like, seeing the way Team Japan was handling it, and I'm telling you, it didn't look like they had the lead, even though they were losing.
Ohtani's aboard with a walk, his 10th of the tournament. Manager of Team Japan, Hideki Kuriyama. His debut as Samurai Japan's manager. Spent the previous decade as manager of the Nippon Ham Fighters, which was Shohei Ohtani's team when he was playing in Japan. And a first-time manager not just of the national team, but period. The first games Mark DeRosa's ever managed are these in the World Baseball Classic, and he's guided them to the championship game. 2 gone in this first inning. Inning kept alive for Masataka Yoshida. And John, there's been a lot of people that have looked at the contract the Boston Red Sox gave this guy, around $100 million for 5 years, and said, boy, that is overpaying. You watched him last night, and you say you're sold already.
I'm sold on him. I think this is transition's not going to be that hard for him to hit American-style pitching.
Pop up here. Yeah, it is out of play.
One of the things that he does well, besides he's got tremendous pop off that bat, he will go the other way, so they're shifting him here, but of course in the baseball this coming year there's going to be no shifting. And I think his ability to adapt to the style of pitching and velocity, he's got a quick bat, and I'm telling you, I watched him launch balls in the upper deck in right field, and this man is ready for Major League Baseball.
And then just a masterful swing on that changeup. He golfed out of here to tie the game in the 7th inning last night.
Yeah, you won't see a better home run under the circumstances and the pitch than you see what he did.
He's hitting .474 in this tournament. He's knocked in 13. That's more than anybody. And in 6 games, he's not struck out. Adam Jones' long Major League career was part of the 2017 USA Championship team. Played with Yoshida in Japan, and he said he's the Japanese Juan Soto. Hits every pitch type, uses the whole field, doesn't chase, and has the ability to hit the ball out like we saw last night.
And the reason I think he'll adjust, I mean, they're going to pitch him in. I've seen the philosophy already in these two games, trying to jam him in.
Behind 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good lead at first for Ohtani. Kelly home with a 1-2. Fought off down the line, foul. Nobody over there, so gave it a good look, but it's foul ball.
And that's the thing with Ohtani. The ball doesn't have to be hit very hard for him to score on a double from first. He's got so much coverage when he's running big, long strides and fast.
And so it was amazing last night when Shuto almost caught him as the pinch runner.
Yeah, I mean, seeing that live, that was, thought I was watching a replay and fast forward.
Zukio Shuto was put in as the pinch runner, and then he saw very quickly why. That is strike 3 called. And that's a scoreless first inning from Merrill Kelly. Off and rolling in the World Baseball Classic title game, and no score after 1.
Next on Behind the Series.
In all my years of playing,
Hola, Pito, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Qué inventa, Negrolo? Como un pro, Pito, un pro qué, un pro qué. ¿Qué está pasando? Cuéntame, ¿un pro en qué? No entiendo.
Why would you go inside there?
Pues nene, voy a montar hasta una página, papi. Voy a montar hasta una página para streamear las películas y todo, verás. Ya vi la pieza que tengo que comprar para jumpear todo.
No score in the championship game between Team USA and Team Japan. He's on the Adonis workout, you are.
Yeah,
huh?
He's definitely getting after it.
Kyle Schwarber to the plate here to lead off. This is a guy that Mark DeRosa calls a dude, and he has said there have been times where on paper you maybe shouldn't have him in the lineup, but he just can't bring himself to not have Kyle Schwarber in there.
Well, he's got the capacity, obviously, to go up there at any time and hit a home run. And early on, the USA team's
Papi,
been
que
pretty
cortarlo para no
aggressive.
meterse en problemas.
So, not seeing this pitcher, trying to get to the fastball as soon as they can.
Oh, and 2, and I mean, rarely do you see Kyle Schwarber on a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. That part of the plate come up empty. But that is what This left-hander does. Shota Imanaga. His 0-2 pitch. Schwarber reaches out, off balance, into right. Kondo comes on and makes the catch.
Well, the hesitation he has with that leg kick is part of the deception. And even though it's not a windup, it's a mini windup because he's pitching out of the stretch, but has that almost Clayton Kershaw-like. But Clayton picks his leg up and then pauses and then goes down. Whereas he's going downhill and kind of sneaky with that fastball on the USA hitters. So no one has been hitting the fastball better than this man. So we'll see what the fastball does to Trey Turner.
Yeah, the biggest swing of the tournament, the quarterfinals, the grand slam to beat Venezuela. And for a follow-up performance, 2 more home runs in the semi on Sunday night. That was all out of the 9 spot. And so when he got the lineup today and saw that he was hitting 6th, he got on the bus and he saw Mark DeRosa and he said, really? You're really going to move me out of the 9 spot? Come on. 2-0. And to think that Trey Turner went into the grand slam at bat on Friday feeling like, or on Saturday, like he was really searching for it, like he was just off and he was up there trying to battle. And he hit what he said is probably the biggest home run of his life. Fouls this one back, and it's 2-1.
Well, let's face it, these guys play a sport that's result oriented. And sometimes results get you going and results get you in a funk. You could hit a line drive 3 times at the shortstop and everyone go, man, way to swing it, and you're 0 for 3. You can get a bloop and 2 bloops and you feel like you're locked in. So that swing and that result, I'm sure, turned him in to on fire.
Lifts this ball down the left field line as Trey Turner done it again in the championship.
Rayete, zúmbalo. Ni habla.
Talked about how he's been handling the fastball, and he's shaking his head because he's locked in right now. He's ready to start the season after that grand slam and this role that he is on. He took a fastball and deposited it again over the left field size in the stands, and batting 6th, batting 9th. It doesn't matter right now.
Yeah, no. Yeah, how about this Phillies lineup coming this year, Johnny? I mean, here's a perfect example. Here's their catcher, JT Realmuto, to follow him. Fouls off the next one.
Yeah, they're going to be real good. Fastball, he tried to sneak inside, and I'm telling you, his swing has been the same on every home run. Balanced, on time, and souvenir.
Boy, it's a pretty swing, isn't it?
It is.
Realmuto on 0-1 takes down and away.
I've said it, I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to stick with it. I think he's going to win an MVP. There's a lot of great players in the game, but nobody, in my opinion, possesses the package of power, speed, hitability. Yes, he strikes out a little bit more than you would like, but I think that can be cut down, and then play defense at a premium position at shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, it really is quite a dynamic package.
And that ballpark he's going to play in is homer friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we saw that in October.
Oh, yeah. It's homer friendly now. I mean, the early part of the season may not be, but.
On a 2-1 pitch, Realmuto couldn't lay off, and it's 2-2. He, of course, is part of that Phillies magical run to the World Series in what was his playoff debut after 9 years in the major leagues. A lot of those coming here in Miami. He gets traded to Philadelphia, signs the extension, and in a lot of ways was the Phillies MVP during the regular season. A lot of that without Bryce Harper. The 2-0 or the 2-2 is a little bit low. Ball 3. He goes from his playoff debut in the fall to his WBC debut here in the spring, and he's gone 5 for 8. U.S. in front on the Trey Turner home run. Now Realmuto hits it down the line, foul. The Team USA in the group stage was really kind of listless at times. They had the breakout performance against Canada, and they had the good start against Colombia, but then Mark DeRosa says they just kind of went flat.
Yeah, they definitely, every other game, they were on fire offensively, but they certainly have turned it up since they've gotten here, and the attention to detail and just the emotion of knowing what's at stake.
Pretty good hitting coach right there, and Ken Griffey Jr. Real Muto with a base hit into left field. Mark DeRosa says that it took time, number one, for them to gel. You got all these superstars coming together, but then the other part of that was it took time for them to stop trying to impress all their fellow superstars and just enjoy being around one another.
Well, you know, no one's going to be honest when you tell, let's say they all go to their individual team. When you go to your individual teams, you know what your warts are, you know what you're good at, and you know what you got to hide, and you know what you got to protect. This lineup has an intuitive confidence about them, like, we're really good. And to your point, if you just get to the basics of it's going to be hard to get us out over 9 innings and do your thing, then it works. But if you're trying to impress and you're trying to make your manager or the players around you feel like you belong, it may not work out that way.
Cedric Mullins, bit of a surprise start here in the championship game. Just his second start of the Classic.
Neri, si se escucha doble el directo, tienen que salir y entrar otra vez. Si por alguna razón el directo se escucha doble, salgan y entren otra vez.
Kyle Schwarber's biggest strength is not defense. So we put Schwarber in the lineup as the DH, Mullins in there and left. And it's not like he's got to convince himself that Cedric Mullins belongs. He just homered in the semifinal off of the bench.
This guy's a great player for Baltimore, and Baltimore is going to be more relative than people think. Their offensive ability. And once they get some pitching, they're going to be stingy in the East.
Shosei Togo already warming for Japan. There's 25 pitches in for Imanaga, who's 1-1, is cut on and miss.
It's been fun talking to the manager of Japan. What a classy guy, and just his answers and his ability to kind of give information and then leave a little bit of information for doubt of what might be coming.
Strike 3 on Mullins, and 2 gone in the second. Yeah, they asked him today, John, same lineup, and he's done these wonderful pressers in Japanese and then used a translator, but today he heard the question and he said same, and everybody nodded. And then he winked and he said in perfect English, maybe.
Maybe. That's a perfect 2-strike pitch that really Cedric couldn't do much with. That paint in the corner. Tough one to pull the trigger on right there.
Second strikeout for Imanaga. And it brings up Tim Anderson, who was the igniter for this offense in the group stage. Just talking to Mark DeRosa in the first few days the team got together and telling him, look, you know, I know you like me, but you're going to love me by the time this tournament finishes. And D-Rose said he ain't wrong. He's made a fan out of me. Anderson grounds one through, base hit center field. Third hit of the inning for the United States, and they're at first and second for the top of the order.
And this is what makes this lineup so tough, getting 3 clean outs. We have not seen a lot of countries face this team and get 3 clean outs because this lineup is that stingy. You turn it over to the top of the order, and now with 2 outs, runners on first and second, you feel like that's a rally with Mookie Betts up.
And everybody coming together here on the mound, maybe buying some time for Shosei Togo. Again, with Hideki Kuriyama being pretty secretive about what the plan was going to be. We didn't get any details on how quickly or even if he'll go to Yu Darvish. But you could see a scenario where none of these pitchers get to face this lineup much more than once. And he's got company down there in the bullpen now. Yuki Utagawa. Trey Turner with a home run in this second inning. Singles from Real Muto and Anderson. And Mookie Betts at the plate with 2 gone. Betts lifts a fly ball to deep left field. Yoshida going back on it. He's got room. And the inning is over. But Team USA gets on the board, and guess how they do it? It's Trey Turner having the time of his life here in the World Baseball Classic. His 5th home run, and Team USA has the first run of the championship.
Dímelo, Corillo. Saludos, Corillo, saludos. Gracias a los que están por ahí, Corillo. Acuérdense, compartirlo, que eso es de gratis, Corillo, para que lleguen 2 o 3 más por ahí a ver el jueguito, a ver si no nos tumban en vivo, o sea, la transmisión o lo que sea. Pero qué clase de palo le ha dado ese, se me olvida el nombre, es el de USA. Ahora mismo dio un jonroncito chévere, lindo, limpiecito. El tipo está, como dicen ellos mismos, el tipo está caliente, caliente. Pero como saben, Corillo, los que están por ahí, no es que he tumbado el directo ni nada, simplemente es que tengo que hacerlo así por los anuncios, Corillo. Ahora mismo están anuncios. La página me dio un error, me está dando un error. Ok, ya arrancó la página como quiera, la página donde están transmitiendo el juego me dio un error, pero ya se arregló. Tan pronto el juego arranque otra vez, pues ponemos la transmisión en directo otra vez, Corillo.
A Trey Turner home run starts the scoring in the championship game, and at the bottom of the 2nd we go. His 5th home run of the tournament, the most ever for a Team USA player. So some early support from Merrill Kelly. 5, 6, and 7 comes up for Japan with Munetaka Murakami, last night's hero, to lead off. Murakami drives a ball to deep right field and ties the game in the blink of an eye.
Diablo, ese tipo una bestia también, Corillo. Ese tipo una bestia. Ay, papá. Ese tipo una bestia. Hace lo mismo del primer. Yo creo que el primer swing al pato de esa temporada.
Well, he was so lost going into the game-winning at-bat last night that he admitted he considered bunting. This is the 2-time MVP in Japan. I think he unlocked some confidence on the game-winning double.
I'm telling you, if you don't think a result can change the attitude and the mindset, that result last night, no different than what we were talking about Justin Turner. He went up there, looked way more confident, and obviously the result was a quick flash homer to right field.
And so tied at 1, just like that. And now Kazuma Okamoto takes a ball. 2-time MVP before he turned 23 years old. But he had struck out 11 times in the tournament prior to his game-winning hit last night. That's a strike, and it's 1-1.
And that's just both sides of the ball that people are going to have to know that happens in this tournament, right? We're in the middle of March. The timing for certain hitters just doesn't click all the way, and that timing right there was perfect. Foot down, barrel the ball, perfect timing. And the same thing goes for pitching. I mean, you're trying to get ready. You want to execute, and you know, sometimes it just gets down the road a little later, and you're hoping the timing of this tournament works out with the players knowing beforehand they were going to get a little amped up early in the spring.
The other way, base hit. Okamoto set a fantastic WBC as aboard with a base hit. Is there an equivalent, John, for a pitcher where for a hitter it can be a dunk shot or a well-timed hit? Is there an equivalent for a pitcher that can get you going?
Yeah, maybe not the same as one swing. It's not one particular pitch. It really has to do more with timing of their mechanics. You know, if you feel like you're in your mechanics early enough in spring training, you're going to make pitches. Making pitches is tied to your mechanics, and getting hits can be tied to your mechanics, but you know there's variables that you can hit a line drive and get caught. So pitching and hitting, result-oriented, are in different ways tied to your mind and what you think. And if your mind's racing and you get out of your mechanics, then you're in trouble. And we've already seen some of those outings in this tournament happen to players.
Tetsudo Yamada, 2 for 3 in the semifinal win for Samurai Japan last night after his 2 for 10 to start the tournament. Got Mike Trout playing for Team USA. This is a guy in Tetsudo Yamada who for a lot of his career in Japan has heard Mike Trout comparisons. Combination of power and speed. He doesn't necessarily have Trout's size, but he's got 4 30-30 seasons. That's 30 homers and 30 steals in 1 year. Fouls it back, and it's 2-1.
Well, big at bat here for Merrill Kelly. I don't know in this format how long Mark DeRosa will stay with Merrill Kelly, but he'll stay with him as long as he can, of course, based on the pitches and pitch limits that are extended here. But he's going to have to get, you know, the ideal situation would be a 2-hopper to Turner right here and get a double play.
Bends him back, and it's 3-1.
But that homer has gotten him out of his mechanics a little bit. He's rushed a couple pitches, and that can happen. So the negative side on the pitching side, when a run is scored or a homer's given up, the tendency is to try to make better pitches and get quicker, and you don't need to do that.
On 3-1, Yamada swings and misses, and it's 3-2. Well-located fastball from Merrill Kelly.
More than likely, for most of this lineup for Team Japan, you feel comfortable sending the runner on a 3-2 count, trusting the hitter at the plate.
Okamoto not running on a foul ball. And not only are they hitting above 300 as a team, not only do they have more walks than they do strikeouts, but they got a bunch of speed as well. They lead the WBC in stolen bases. It's a well-rounded bunch. Trying to become just the second team ever to have a clean sweep through the World Baseball Classic. Dominican Republic did it in 2013. A 3-2 again, and a fly ball to the right field corner for Mookie Betts. And the first out of the second. Down to Kenny Rosenthal.
Well, guys, it's interesting to see how Merrill Kelly is going about this. I spoke with Diamondbacks pitching coach Brent Strom this morning, and he said Kelly against Colombia threw way too many breaking balls. He said Kelly's got excellent command of his sinker and that his cutter would be an important pitch against Team Japan's slew of left-handed hitters. Just got an out there on the cutter. 27 pitches so far, actually 28. Only 3 curveballs. Okamoto hit 1 for his single. We'll see how this develops.
Yeah, didn't throw a single breaking ball in that first inning, Kenny. Strike to the back door on Sosuke Genda.
Yeah, and again, you have twofold jobs. Get results, work on your pitches, get your innings. Those go out the window tonight.
The other way goes Genda. He's got a base hit. Mostly in the lineup for his defense. He contributes the 3rd hit of this inning for Japan.
Tonight, you want to get results. So you go with your money pitches and you work on everything else once you get out of this tournament. And what Kenny said, you know, sometimes when you hear what people say you're good at, and he got underneath that pitch right there. But if you can stay on top of the ball and he throws that cutter off the barrel of the bat, that's what makes Merrill Kelly durable. That's why he made the most starts last year, and his ability to pitch innings for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's not going to wow you with a ton of swing and miss, but he is going to be able to pitch to the corners and move the ball around.
9-hitter Yuhei Nakamura takes the ball. You saw Andy Pettit on the phone down at the bullpen. Mark DeRosa was looking forward to finally there not being a tomorrow to worry about in the way that he's going to manage his staff.
Yeah, I think it's wise to get somebody going. The problem is if it's a reliever and you get them going and you get them hot, you've got to bring them in based on the rules that were set forth for relievers, because you don't want to get a reliever up ready to go in the game and then not pitch him.
It's Aaron Loop that he starts to loosen here. Well, Mark DeRosa had never managed a game prior to this WBC, at least outside of his apartment. It's a bouncing ball along third and foul. He got the job in August, and he said over the next several months he quote-unquote managed about 60 games, all the World Series games. He'd write down the lineups on his sheet, and he'd try to manage the game right along with Dusty Baker and Rob Thompson, and would see how his decision-making compared to the two of them. And he said he thought it probably fell somewhere in between. Dusty tended to stick with his guys longer. Rob Thompson was a little more aggressive. Well, tonight, Mark probably going to be a little bit more Rob Thompson-like in the way he manages the staff. 2-1 from Merrill Kelly is a strike. So from his couch to the World Baseball Classic in what, his 7th game as a manager?
This was a great pitch on 2-1, just painting the inside part of the plate.
Okamoto's at second. Genda's at first. Nakamura takes inside, and the count goes full.
Just missed painting another inside part of the plate.
Kelly's 3-2. Just missed. After just missing inside, misses away, and Japan has the bases loaded for the top of the order.
Well, they're going to have the catcher go out and talk to him a little bit to create some time for Aaron Loop. I don't know if they'll bring him in right here, but by stalling a little bit gives Aaron Loop the opportunity to really get ready and possibly could be coming in the game for this left-handed part of the lineup that Japan is going to throw at him.
Yeah, it would make sense taking a look at what's coming up. These next 5 hitters, not only are they the best hitters Japan has, but they are all left-handed.
Comuníquense que se puso caliente esto.
It's Lars Nootbaar, the St. Louis Cardinals. Flied to left his first time. Lars Nootbaar doing something that's never been done before. And that is play for Team Japan, having been born outside the country. He's going to face Aaron Loop. So Merrill Kelly's day comes to an end with the bases loaded here in the 2nd inning, tied at 1 in the championship.
Hey, Seth, you getting ready to roll?
Yep, road trip.
¿Cómo se atreven esta gente a tirar anuncios ahora? Anuncios ahora en un momento así tan de esto. No. Seguillan. Dímelo, Caldalda, no sé si estás por ahí todavía, papi. Ya vi que están metiéndole mods al jueguito. Ya vi la voz, el boss de Fortnite. Parece que andaba volándolo por ahí. Me imagino, bro, eso es lo que te gusta a ti, me imagino, pay. La modiaera, mano, yo tengo que ponerme para jugar otra vez, no he jugado hace tiempo.
tomorrow at 9 on Fox.
Yesterday, MLB and the Marlins visited children at Alex's Place, part of the Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center in Miami, and they worked on artwork with a special international flair in celebration of the WBC. MLB's Dan Halem and Raul Ibanez are joined by the Marlins' Caroline O'Connor and former Big League All-Stars Harold Reynolds, Jimmy Rollins, and Ryan Howard. Bottom two back here in Miami, tied at 1. Bases loaded for Japan, and Mark DeRosa really at that point had no choice but to go to his bullpen and bring on Aaron Loup.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Merrill Kelly. I know he wanted to stay in the game. You could tell he wanted to work his way out of that, and he would have given that opportunity 99 out of 100 times in a regular season game. But in this situation, in a championship game with a left-handed thunder coming up for Team Japan, it really was the move to get Aaron Loup in here. And probably, if he gets out of this jam, you might think about Kyle Freeland, a left-hander that could come in here. But at this point, the game, with the bases loaded, you got to avoid the big inning right here, and this is the best option to do that.
Aaron Loup is 35 years old out of Raceland, Louisiana. Getting ready for his 12th year in the majors. He'll be with the Angels again. What a tune-up this is, though. Bases loaded for Japan. He faces Lars Nootbaar in a tie game, second inning of the championship. Loup's first pitch. Nootbaar shows bunt and takes a strike. Merrill Kelly's going to hold his breath for a while here. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes.
You just don't know what that's like if you're a left-handed batter and you're seeing the pitcher come from behind you, meaning the ball looks like it's coming behind you with the way he throws across his body. I don't know if he'll try to sweep a breaking ball, but he threw 2 perfect fastballs. Inner half.
And now an 0-2. Nootbaar muscles it to first. Goldschmidt was playing deep, so his only play is at first, and in a race to the bag, Loup just barely wins it. Okamoto scores through the back door, and Japan takes its first lead of the night. So Lars Nootbaar with an RBI bounce out. 2-1 Japan.
That's a great at bat by Nootbaar. I mean, he jams them, and unfortunately for Team USA, no chance to do anything but get that out at first, just barely.
Nootbaar can really fly. One-time star high school football player in Southern California. Second and third, 2 gone, and Kondo's the hitter. 11-year veteran in Japan, Kensuke Kondo. More walks than strikeouts over those 11 years. So he's been top 3 in the league in on-base percentage 5 years in a row. One of the top hitters they have, and nestled right there in the lineup between Nootbaar and Ohtani. And an 0-1 pitch. He takes outside. Kondo is starting in right field tonight. Actually began his career in Japan as a catcher. Moved from catcher to third base and then eventually to the outfield. Genda at third, Nakamura at second. Strike 2 to the top of the zone from Loup. The 1-2. Swatted down the left field line, foul. United States with the first run of the game. Top of this inning on a Turner home run. Murakami tied it on a homer first pitch of this bottom of the second. They've taken a 2-1 lead. Loup trying to keep it right there. It's a check swing foul.
Loop's doing a great job jamming the left-handers in. And again, it opens up the door for that sweeping breaking ball. But he has definitely been pouring it on the inside part of the plate against the left-handers.
Against a guy who is so hard to strike out. And Kondo with Ohtani waiting on deck. Loops 1-2 again. Is lofted into center field. Nice job by Aaron Loop. Comes in with the bases loaded, gives up just one. Japan takes the lead. They tie it right away. First pitch of the inning, Murakami. One swing after he won the game last night. Ties the game here, and it's 2-1 Japan after 2.
Yo no sé, Corillo, pero si Houston no se pone los pantalones, esto está apretado, esto está feo, esto pinta feo, Corillo. Houston está jugando súper bien también, pero si no se ponen para lo de ellos, esto pinta feo.
Japan has taken its first lead of the World Baseball Classic final. 2-1 as Aaron Loop gets out of that jam with minimal damage.
Yeah, it was a great job. I mean, he made two great pitches to Nootbaar, and Nootbaar just had a great at-bat to put the ball in play and drive in the run. You never know what it's going to take execution-wise against two great teams. And now the USA team's facing a brand new pitcher.
This is Shosei Togo into the bullpen already for both teams. Mike Trout leads off and takes a strike. Togo, as a 22-year-old last year, finished top 5 in Japan in strikeouts, had a 2.62 ERA. So this is some task for him here, coming on to face Trout. Fouled off, and it's 0-2.
Well, against Chinese Taipei, he threw 27 of his 52 pitches for changeups.
It's his only appearance of this WBC. Struck out 7 over 3 innings in that game. Trout, Goldschmidt, and Arenado coming up here in the third. Trout, who had a hustle double his first time. Got an 0-2. Takes in the dirt. And what they're calling the dream team started with Mike Trout. The first thing that Tony Reagans did after he took over as the GM last summer was fly into Southern California, drive to Anaheim, and ask Mike Trout not just to be on the team, but to be the team captain. And he committed right away. And once he did, the rest followed. Chase is here for strike 3. That thing fell off the table.
Well, another split finger changeup. That's what this team has really filled its rotation with, the ability to throw that pitch. And it is a tough pitch to recognize. Great arm speed and great depth to that pitch.
A ball on Goldschmidt. Struck out his first time. Well, Paul Goldschmidt's one of 2 carryovers from the 2017 championship team, just him and Nolan Arenado, and it has been a much different WBC for Goldschmidt this time. He went 1 for 13 in 2017 and pretty much was benched. He didn't play in the semis or in the championship. This year, an on base above 500. That is hit way up there, close to the rafters here in Miami. Over to grab it is Yoshida. And there is Kyle Freeland, as you talked about last inning, maybe being the next option.
Yeah, and he'll need to eat up at least 3 innings. In the perfect world, if they can get to the 5th, they can finish it with the bullpen, or at least relievers, I should say.
Well, the bullpen, John, has quietly been a strength of this team. You had Bards blow up on Saturday night in the quarter, but outside of that, the bullpen has a 2.28 ERA. Arenado takes a ball. And the reason that we're talking about just trying to get it to the 6th inning, you've got 4 guys down there who have been pretty much untouched, from Bednar to Adam to Williams in the 8th and Presley in the 9th. Similar deal for Arenado, who's the other holdover from 2017. In 2017, Arenado hit 161. He said just tried way too hard, was gripping the life out of the bat, struck out 11 times. 391 his average this time around. On a 2-1 from Togo. Arenado checks his swing. Ball 3.
Pretty good call. Looked live, like he might have gone. A lot of body out in front, but he kept the barrel of the bat behind the plate.
That's ball 4. 2-out base runner for the United States on an Arenado walk. Well, brings up Kyle Schwarber.
I'm sure they know the scouting report on Kyle Schwarber, but I wouldn't throw him a first pitch fastball here with 2 outs. I would rely on that split change that he has and just see if you can get Kyle, maybe his guessing fastball, to hit one of his majestic home runs.
52 of them for the Phillies in 2022. Slices a pop up and foul ground. Nakamura over to give it a look, but that is a souvenir. Kyle Schwarber's played 8 seasons in the majors, and in those 8 seasons, he's made 7 trips to the postseason. He's been with a bunch of different teams, and he said, look, I've just been really lucky. And he said it's addictive. Once you get there, you want more of it. And as amazing as those trips have been, that's included a couple trips to the World Series. He says this, not saying it's better, but it's a different level of emotion and intensity when you factor in the crowds, factor in wearing your country's uniform.
I mean, let's face it, when they get to the World Series, it's at the end of the year. You're pretty drained, so you're running on adrenaline. When you're fresh in spring training, like right now, you got nothing but adrenaline and you got nothing but emotion, so you can utilize both. So that's why it's a little different for these guys, because they're fresh and ready to go. And what he said about addicting, I went 15 years to the postseason, and I wish I had another 5. Like, it's that much fun to try to win a World Series championship together as a team. When you get in the playoffs, you know what it means. The crowd knows what it means. And everything is more attention to detail.
It's the payoff, right, for that long grind.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always say when every team leaves spring training, about 20% of the teams believe what their manager thinks. We're good enough. We can do it. We can win it all. About 20%. That's everybody else knows it would take some miracles to get to that point. But the teams that leave spring training know they have a good chance. It's a fun ride when you get there.
Schwarber with a big rip, dumps it back, and it's full. And so Arenado will get a head start from first. 2-1 Japan in the championship game, looking for their first championship since 2009. And they knocked the United States out in the semifinal. Japan won the first 2 World Baseball Classics, 06, 09. They've bowed out in the semis the last 2. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4 to Schwarber, and back-to-back 2-out walks issued by Togo.
Well, it's a good meeting right now because Turner's at the plate. And hottest player in the universe.
I would say 4 home runs in his last 7 at-bats. Going back to his grand slam on Saturday night. Those 5 home runs, the most by a USA player, not just in one WBC, but in a WBC career. And never in the regular season in the majors has he homered in 3 consecutive games as he has in this tournament.
Again, hard to get clean innings against the Team USA. Hard to go 1, 2, 3. This would be a huge boost if Turner could get a 2-out hit and drive in 1 or more.
Two on, 2 out, and a 1-run game in the 3rd. Turner takes way outside, and Togo's kind of all over the place right now.
Well, he's overthrowing his split. He's been trying to really get the aggressiveness of the hitters to bite on that split, and the only way you can do that is to throw that pitch over the middle of the plate and let it go down. He's pulling it right now, and really the pressure of this lineup and tension of this game that can do it. It's all it takes, a little deviation of your hand to change a pitch.
Turner swings and misses.
Good fastball right down the middle, just kind of beat the barrel of the bat.
On a 1-1 from Togo, Turner chops it foul, and it's 1-2. Couple of walks setting the table for Team USA here. Down 2-1. For the hottest player and the best hitter in the lineup in this tournament. Lineup full of superstars. None has been better than Trey Turner with his 5 home runs. On a 1-2 from Shosei Togo. Turner swings and misses, and Togo finds it to get out of the jam.
So it prevents streak
Team USA 2-1 here to the bottom of the third. Manager Mark DeRosa joins us. And Mark, I know Merrill Kelly out of the game much faster than you would have hoped, but given the way things went on Sunday night, you guys are still lined up okay.
Yeah, I was saying, I know Merrill's, he's chapped. He wanted to stay out there, but with just too many weapons out there, like I said, Loopy's an old teammate. I knew he could come into that situation and be fine, and he got us out of it. So hopefully get Kyle Freeland going, steal a couple innings with him.
Shohei Ohtani at the plate leading things off for Japan. So you guys had your first meeting 2 weeks ago today, first get together as a team. Has it been a fast 2 weeks, or does it seem like a long 2 weeks?
No, I feel like we've been together for 6 months.
Yeah.
The most unbelievable experience in my baseball career, to be honest with you, and the most stressful.
Well, it's been a blast for all of us to watch. I know this is not this right here is not free of stress, a Shohei Ohtani bet. So we're going to let you go do your job. You've represented your team and your country beautifully, Mark.
No, I appreciate it, guys. This has been amazing.
All right, so Mark DeRosa, manager of Team USA, his first managing job. And he watches Kyle Freeland face Ohtani, Yoshida, and Murakami. Count goes full on Ohtani. He walked his first time up, really didn't see anything good to hit against Kelly. On a 3-2. He takes strike three, and good start for Kyle Freeland.
That was a good start. You're facing one of the game's best, and he freezes them with a 3-2 cutter on the outside part of the plate. You see that cutting action, and it just holds on the outside part of the plate and just freezes Ohtani. And Freeland has a unique release point. It's not over the top, it's not low three-quarters, somewhere in between, and the ball has good movement when he's on plane pitching off the third base side of the rubber, so he wants that ball to move primarily away from the right-handed hitters.
29 years old, out of Denver, Colorado, pitching for his hometown team. Entering his 7th year with the Colorado Rockies. And facing Masataka Yoshida in a 2-1 game in the third. Yoshida takes the ball, and it's 2-0. Or 3-0, beg your pardon. Now Freeland broke into the majors in 2017, got off to a great start. 4-pitch walk here. He had Rookie of the Year votes in 17. 2018, he was top 5 in Cy Young voting, even though he was pitching half his games at Coors Field. He had a sub-3 ERA. That's a Colorado record. It's been up and down the last few years, though. He's dealt with some injuries. He did sign a long extension. And even with the up and down nature of his career, John, not many guys can sustain a career at Coors Field the way that he has.
I agree. It's carryover effect. The more you pitch there and then trying to go on the road, it definitely has and takes its toll on pitching. You got to be clean with your mechanics. You got to trust that you're not going to pitch too many shutouts, and you just got to deal with the atmosphere and the environments. It's not easy for a visiting player. I guess you can get used to it as a home pitcher.
Murakami chops one to second. Anderson feeds Turner on to first. There's two. Kyle Freeland, in the blink of an eye, works facing the minimum here in the third. 2-1 game.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than
Corillo, la página del stream del juego me dio problema y siempre que le pongo play se van anuncios. Rapidito que salgan los anuncios los ponemos otra vez, Corillo. Como vieron, la página se había ido en loading. Oh, se fue en un anuncio completo entonces, Corillo. Parece que se fue en anuncio. Ya mismito lo pongo otra vez. Está en pausa, Corillo, está en pausa todavía. Como pueden ver, ya mismo arranca otra vez.
T-Mobile is back with the best offer for baseball fans. Switch to T-Mobile and score a free MLB.TV subscription. You can redeem March 28th through April 3rd at T-Mobile.com/MLB. Japan has a 2-1 lead in this championship game as we go to the 4th inning. Joe Davis, John Smoltz, Ken Rosenthal, and a packed house of baseball fans. Sellouts for all 3 games, the semis and in the championship. Bottom part of the order for Shosei Togo to face off with. JT Realmuto singled his first time to lead it off. And the Phillies catcher swings and misses at a high fastball.
Well, the challenge for the USA team is going to be trying to get his fastball because the changeup or splitter has been really the go-to pitch for him, striking out most of his hitters on it. And if they can stay off of that pitch and confine him to fastballs, then this offense will flex its muscles. But if they got him swinging at it, it's going to be tough go for even a great offense like Team USA.
Swing and a miss. 1-2. 23 runs the last 2 games for Team USA. They needed every bit of it in the quarterfinal. It was a rout in the semifinal against Cuba. Realmuto somehow gets his bat on that, stays alive.
And the reason that pitch is so good, his arm action is so consistent with the fastball that there's, again, no difference between the two. And because he comes out at low 3/4 with that pitch comes to the hitter and then just falls.
Another 1-2. Realmuto to short and caught by Genda.